What up, y'all? Welcome to another episode. Actually, this is a special episode of Let's Talk More Action Golf podcast, a Friday edition. And I'm your host, Luke Josepha. And today we bring you part two of my conversation with Wayne and Jason, dear friends of mine, golf buddies, who invited me into their golf community. And it's been amazing since. So, generally, I do a quick monologue at the beginning, but because this is a special edition, I'm giving you guys part two of this conversation. I'm going to keep the monologue for next episode. And trust me when I tell you, you do not want to miss this because Chad and I squared up again on the course, and I cannot wait to share with you not only how it turned out, but our brief conversation we had. So, keep it locked. Get your clubs. Let's get on the tee box for part two of my conversation with Wayne Dawson and Jason Osborne. Let's talk more action golf, y'all.
All right, so we got Jason with us as well. So I know I'd be
Hey,
focused on you. Jason, man, how you doing? What's going on?
I'm good, man. Can you hear me all right?
I can hear you perfectly well.
Awesome.
How you doing today?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. Sorry I'm late, but parent stuff, so it's all good. But no, I'm good, man. I've been enjoying the conversation since I've joined.
Yeah. So we're talking about showing like the humanity part of golf and all that stuff. And I think for us as weekend golfers, as you're saying, you have to navigate family, work responsibility with like finding a block of 4 hour in the day to play golf. So how'd you get into golf and what's it been like for you to like navigate and find that time to play golf and still raising a young family?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I mean, for me, I got into it when I was young. My grandmother actually introduced me to the sport when I was like 12.
Your
But
grandmother?
yeah, because my great grandfather played.
Okay.
So she introduced me to golf at a very young age, and I would say I had a natural talent for it, but obviously I didn't know anything other than here's some clubs, here's a ball, try to hit it and get it in the hole. But then growing up, it's really just been inconsistent until recently. As far as I'd play for a summer or two, and then take a 2 years off, and then actually tried out for my high school golf team when I was a senior. I didn't make it because I was just super trash and I didn't really understand the fundamentals of golf as I do now.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I would say golf has always been a part of my life in one way or another. Um, Now, it's definitely one of those things where you kind of have to balance it. And I think the older you get with the more responsibilities you have, it becomes more of a struggle for me personally. I will shout out my wife, like she's super understanding. Like as long as it doesn't affect like the home schedule, she'll let me go out. I mean, not let me, but she doesn't have a problem with me going out and playing and doing things like that. And she also knows it's important. So having a supportive partner, I think, is important. And then also not taking advantage of their like kindness in that regard. Like if I
that's
know I play
very true.
a good amount of golf in the week and I'm not going to try to push it and try to get that third tee time in, or something like that. Like I usually just try to, test the water a little bit as far as like, I might go out, but I just try to make it as least inconveniencing as possible for her. And that helps. And, I have a young daughter, so, you know, um, the sports and the high school or the middle school, elementary school plays and all the things that like usually come into life later on. We haven't hit that stage yet, so I still have some time. But yeah, it can be challenging, especially when you get the itch and you really just want to be out on the course. But
Yeah, yeah.
for me, family does come first. And I just try to fit golf in with whatever spare time I have outside of that.
So I want to jump in when we talk about in terms of like playing and all that stuff. You and Wayne have very different ways of setting up, right? So Wayne, if I can take the liberty of doing like a little bit of analysis, right? So I remember Wayne, when I see you play or I play with you, you check out where you want to lay the ball, step up, and immediately you like, okay, here it is. Jason, I remember the very first time I saw you play your setup, I thought to myself, wait, I don't think I would. I would always chunk the ball if I set up the way you set up. But at this, and I'm saying this in terms of like you set up to the ball, you really take your time. I think for me, the first time I saw you play, I thought, oh wow, he really takes time to quiet his mind down before hitting the ball. What is your swing thoughts?
Honestly, like my setup has definitely gone through a progression since probably the
Okay.
first time we played till now. And I think that has just come with me being more comfortable in certain situations or my swing overall. Um, you know, speaking of misses or, miss hits and things like that, like I had a real bad problem chunking the ball um, when we first started playing. And that extra time was usually just a checklist running through my mind of, swing mechanics, make sure I'm shifting my weight properly, things like that. And I will agree that too long of a setup is a bad thing because sometimes you are, you know, 30 seconds after you've taken your last practice swing, and then you've already lost that momentum or feel to the swing that would have given you a good shot. So I have tried to speed it up a little bit. But really now when I step over the ball, it's first thing is first, is just make sure my alignment is right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll stand behind the ball. I'll make sure I'm looking at my targets. Where do I want to miss? Where do I not want to miss? I think about my natural, swing shape, shot shape. And then once I get, standing in front of it, just make sure the ball is in the right position between my feet. That I have a solid grip on my club shaft, and then I usually will take 2 to 3 medium to full swing practice swings until I see a good divot as far as where I want the club to hit. Once I see a good divot, I'll just try to replicate that swing and make sure that, I'm good. Because a good divot for me is obviously after where the ball is placed on the ground.
Yeah.
So as soon as I can make two like solid divots where the divot is coming after the ball, I feel comfortable enough to go ahead and just swing. But yeah, come in my mind is definitely a part of it. I mean, if you do watch the PGA pros, like, and I know for them, every shot is potentially, 20, 30, $50,000 on the line, depending on where they're placing. So I can understand why they take their time, but golf is a matter of patience, in my opinion. Some people like definitely just go up, hit the ball, and me, I kind of just try to find a medium pace. I don't want to take too long, but I also just don't want to go up and rush it because that's typically where I've been making my mistakes now. Is when I rush the process. When I feel a little bit more anxious, I'll rush my swing, and then a bad shot will usually happen. So I think I found a nice pace considering how long it used to take. But I still wouldn't say I was the longest, but I definitely am longer. I definitely
Oh
had a
no,
longer setup than Wayne.
I don't think you're the longest. I have a guy that I play with. Every time he's on the ball, I'm like, oh my God, when are you gonna
Yeah,
hit it? Come
yeah.
on. And what makes it worse is that minute that he takes over the ball often does not translate
And
into a
that's
repeat
yeah,
shot.
yeah. And that's frustrating. And I can be frustrated. I'm sure it's super frustrating for him. It's definitely frustrating to me because then I feel like an idiot. Like, why would you waste so much time trying to prep for the shot just to do that, And I think that's usually a case of taking too long to just pull the trigger and swing. The golf swing is so fickle and it's a matter of centimeters sometimes, and just a little bit of extra rotation in the wrist or your swing could be the difference between a great shot and a bad shot. So I just try to make sure that I feel comfortable, and confidence is key. Confidence is definitely key. I'm definitely more confident as a golfer now, especially hitting certain shots than I was before. So obviously, I don't need to take as much time as I did before.
Wayne, what's your swing mechanics? What are some of the things that you check in as you're stepping up to the ball?
For me, it's more of Jason said it at the end. It's confidence. For me, I really, literally, I never think I'm ever gonna miss a swing. In my mind, I don't think so. So when I'm over the ball, I'm always like, okay, I know what I have to do. I just have to do it. So the first thing I'll check for is the wind. Most of the time, it's if you're playing at Clear Creek, it's pretty well established which way the wind is going. You don't have to guess too much.
Mm-hmm.
So I try and figure out, okay, my swing. I know it usually goes left. So how when I hit this shot, is it going to be affected by the wind? The second thing is more you said this a little earlier, but I'm more of like a feel type of golfer. I don't necessarily need to know the distance. I just need to know like what club generally would I need to swing with. And then I just try and feel it in from there. Like we said, I'm not a pro golfer or anything. I golf. I'm a golfer, so I like to get that feeling for the swing. And then I just don't think about anything. I look at the back of the ball and let the club rip, and it does what it does. I wouldn't say it's too much. I feel like if I'm going to focus too much on the swing, then I know I'm going to mess up. So I'm just like, all right, I know I can do it already, so I'll just go ahead and go swing that club and let it fly.
I do. In a lot of time, I'm really stubborn, but when I step to the ball and I don't take the right time, because I'm sure, I don't know, I'm sure if we were to do some research, we'd find out what the right amount of time is to be standing over the ball. But I do know for a fact that, to me, I don't see it as positive or negative, right? I just see it as like, okay, just as Jason said, how are you building your confidence over the ball? Because sometimes I stand over the ball, I can feel in my body that I'm ready for this swing. Other time, I stand over the ball and I make that swing, immediately I know, wait, that was way premature, right? And when I know that it's premature, I regret it. I start overthinking what I should do. So I don't know that I'm saying, Jason, like it's a bad thing. I think for me, it's interesting because I want to find that happy medium.
I mean, I will tell you one thing. Like, I don't swing unless I feel like I'm ready to make the swing. Like, even if I'm up next to hit, like I'll try to. One of the last rounds we played with another couple of guys, um, I was ready to swing at first, and then something about the wind or my stance or something, I was not. I pulled back, and then I tried to let the guy, like one of our other player partners, go, and he got pissed because I was taking too long. And he was just like, go ahead and hit the ball, man. Like I was waiting for you to go, you know. So then I
Yeah.
stand back, address the ball, and then I felt ready, like I had the right stance, and then I hit a really great shot. So I think for me, it's like, so if you don't have the confidence in your shot and you don't have the feeling that you're ready, a lot of times we just have to take the medicine, step back, reset, and then go. I feel like a lot of golfers, me and myself included, like even during a round, there probably still is at least one or two shots where I knew I wasn't ready, but I forced it anyway, and the result was exactly what I was afraid it was going to be. And
Mm-hmm.
I've just gotten better, just just swallowing my pride. Like, yo, like I know it might be a little annoying for someone to get ready to hit, and then they step back, relook at everything, and readjust the ball. But every time I've done that, instead of just going for it and trying to force it, it's always been a better result. So I think the number one thing is just feeling comfortable and ready to go. And then if you're not, the more important thing is to not let your pride make you still swing the club. Like, it's all right. Just step back, take an extra couple seconds, step back up to the ball, and then do what you were going to do. And that's what I'm working on. I'm trying to make sure that, like, anytime I don't feel comfortable, I don't go ahead and do it anyway. I just step back, reset, and then go.
So I think for a long time, I think when I started playing golf, I would walk because I found that as I'm walking from shot to shot, it gave me enough time to already start thinking, what is the wind doing? Where do I want to miss? How do I not want to miss? So by the time I get to the ball, I've already thought about all these things. So it's just a matter of just getting the swing mechanic. But I can't lie, a lot of time, I think I succumbed to peer pressure because I stepped to the ball and I'm like, this doesn't feel right. But then, I'm playing with the group or there are people behind me. I'm like, all right, let me just do it. And then I often, if it's top it, shank it, and then everybody's looking at me like, what's happening? So I definitely, I definitely have, fallen, you know, definitely have fallen, victim to peer pressure.
Golf is that mental sport, you know? Golf is so much more mental than I would say a lot of sports are, as far as how much your mental can affect just your swing. And you could just hit a bad shot just because your mind isn't in the right place. I agree. Like walking is definitely a different experience. It allows you to take in the course and feel like just everything. Um, yeah, I think that honestly, like I really try to make sure that when I'm driving a cart, I try to do those same things.
Mm.
But then sometimes you get distracted because you don't know where the hell your ball landed, or you know, you want to make sure you're not being a disruption or a distraction to someone that might be behind you that's about to hit. And you drove, I know, and I have to stop doing that. I realize I do that a lot. I'll drive straight up to my ball, even though there are people behind me. And like, I'm like, damn, like I shouldn't be here right now. I should be parked next to them. Like, because even if I'm not in their line of fire, just being ahead of them could just be enough of a distraction to throw them off.
And
So I try to,
we're talking about balls. Like I think I losing balls is one of the most frustrating things for me. Like it
it's
could just mess up the whole for me. Because once you lose the ball, and a lot of time, if you're playing with the other people, you're paying attention to their balls, right? You're making sure, and then you may see where your ball landed. But then by the time they're done, you can't find yours. I don't know how
yeah,
you all react to losing balls, like not because you hit it in the wrong spot, but simply because you're playing with two other people. And Wayne, what's been your experience with that?
Yeah, I'm thinking about some horror stories about that right now. I wouldn't say I hate it, but it's just so frustrating and so mentally draining to be like, okay, that shot is safe, so I'm good. And then you walk in, try and find it, and it's nowhere to be found. I mean, it went to Narnia or something. You're like, dang, where did that golf ball go? And then that's the only thing you can think about. And then kind of you like y'all say, you got to relax your mind again, get back ready for that swing. But yeah, nah, I hate that feeling of, oh, that should be safe, but of course you can't find it. And at Clear Creek, they cut the grass recently, but it was pretty bad there for a minute, having to find the golf ball. So
yeah,
yeah,
You
we
know,
we
experienced.
did it.
at Clear Creek, hole number 10,
Yeah,
that, oh my goodness, I call that the Bermuda Triangle.
down the
Because
right.
you hit it, you think you hit it in the center. It You're like, oh, my ball is safe. You get there and you just, in my experience, I just can't find my ball. You've played at Clear Creek, Jason.
Yeah.
Have you lost the ball at hole 10?
Yeah. I mean, I've lost balls just to bad shots and hitting it OB, and I've lost balls more. I will probably have lost more balls due to poor course condition, not to shit on Third Creek or anything, but like the rough was really, really high, like abnormally high the last couple of rounds I played there, where if you hit it in there and you're not watching the ball, it could be in a play. It's always in a playable area, and it's always a good shot, but you might have just landed in the rough a little bit. That's not a problem. Cool. But the grass was up to your kneecaps in some places, and you ain't gonna be able to find a ball. Like it could be sitting right in front of you and you'll miss it,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah,
And for me, that's like one of the most frustrating things because you know that like if you were able to just find the ball, it would have been a playable shot. You would have been able to get on the green or get close to the green, and then losing the ball in bounds, like it's just like it's defeating almost because you don't want to have to take a drop. And in some cases, like it's a penalty free drop, like if it lands in like standing water or something like that. Um, but in the rough, like it's just like kind of like what you're playing for the day. Some people will hold you to that. Like I've never played with anyone that serious, but if it was a PGA tournament and you lose your ball in bounds, that's a 2-stroke penalty. You know what I'm saying? So like
yeah.
I don't play by that rule. Like unless I hit it OB, like, I'll add the stroke or whatever. Um, but yeah, if you hit your ball in a PGA tournament and everyone knows it's in bounds, but no one can find it, it's a 2-stroke penalty. So it's just crazy when you think about things like that where, losing a ball could really have like really bad effects on your score. I almost would rather just hit it OB if I'm gonna lose it in play. But yeah, I've lost a bunch of balls in Clear Creek. And that's just part of being an amateur golfer. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna have a lot of great shots, but you'll have a lot of bad ones that you wish you could get back. I'm actually playing a real cheap ball right now because I bought all these cheap balls when I first started playing, and then I was losing all my good balls. So I was just like, let me go through these Titleist velocities for a while. I have a whole bucket of them, like 50 of them, you know.
Ooh.
And I was just like, let me go through these balls before I start spending more money on like the Pro V1s and the TP5s and all that stuff.
I remember I went to, I'm fairly new. I think like I was doing the Instagram thing, and somebody asked me, "Oh, what's your ball speed? What kind of?" And I'm like, "Wait, people actually have actual." So I went to Dick's Sporting Good. I did kind of like a little ball fitting, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, you should based on this, you should play with those tailor-made tour stripe balls." Now, them joints are expensive. You know, the ones with it's like the big band around the ball. Some are green, blue, orange, and red. Those balls are like
Right.
$42 a pack, right? And I think, well, how many comes in the pack? Maybe like 12?
It doesn't,
So,
yeah.
yeah, they're super expensive. So I went in, I bought 12 of those. Man, those balls are so hard to hit. At hole one, I lost 5 of them off rip because they're just like take
I've done
off.
some I've done some research on balls and like how things can affect it. Like I typically will only play a ball maybe twice before I put it into like the practice bin. Because I've done a lot of research on balls and like what the right ball is and everything like that. And some balls will spin more, some balls will spin less, some will give you a higher mid or low trajectory compared to other ones. Dirt on your ball when you putt will significantly affect the roll. Even when a ball gets scraped and scuffed, like where you can like rub your fingers over the surface of the ball and you can feel like the scratches in it, that could
Yeah,
affect your ball flight and make it go to the left or the right by 30 yards. So typically when it has like a scratch or a scuff, or maybe it hit the cart path or it was a rocky sand trap or something like that, that typically will just replace it right after the hole is finished. And I mean, it's just amazing what the balls will do. I mean, honestly, at this level, the type of ball you play does matter, but not as much as it matters if you were a pro, because
right.
you don't have that like super control over it like the pros do. But it's still it still is effective. Like with these velocities, they don't get a lot of spin. So around the green, like I almost have to hit it shorter because I can't expect the spin to be fast enough to bite the green and stop it. So that's been different, but yeah, typically the more expensive balls, they have a softer feel. They'll bite the green a little bit more when they spin onto it. Um, and they go a little bit farther. But
What ball are you playing with, Wayne? Do you have a specific ball you sticking with?
Yeah.
whatever one he finds in the woods.
Whatever ball I find, I'm not like, it's not like I'm cheap or anything. The thing is for me is just like, I really don't care. I feel like, man, come on, I'm doing too much to think about the ball spinning left or right, whatever. I just need to hit it on the dang green. But the ball I play the most with right now is Vice. Soon to be, speaking it into existence, the official golf ball of Lowfadegolf. Said that a couple weeks ago, and it's gonna happen. So just to let y'all know, y'all heard it here first.
Okay.
All right, listen, we love breaking new things here on the podcast. So you heard it. Vice is gonna be the official golf ball of Lowfadegolf.
Amen.
How'd you get started with Vice? Like, what did you
it's not
get
official.
a fitting for it?
It's more of a an affirmation, or what do they call it? Manifestation. I'm manifesting. I don't have to pay for golf. So yeah, it's gonna happen though.
Okay. But what drew you? Now you playing with Vice, right?
Yeah.
But when did you know, like, oh, I wanted to play with this ball?
So interesting question. So kind of what Jason was saying, I saw a post about the golf ball that I usually used to play was the Kirkland golf ball. I used to play with that one a lot. And I saw that it was way too spinny for the average golfer who's, like he said, I don't really have the best control spinning it around the greens or anything. So I needed to get a ball that was less spinny. And I saw they were relatively cheap, the Vice Pro golf balls at Sam's. So I bought 2 dozen and I went on a golf trip. And every time I played on a golf trip, we won by 2, +2, +6. So I was like, oh yeah, this is the golf ball for me. So ever since then, like I said, I love to win. So when I won with them, I was like, yeah, I can't stop the winning with these. And I haven't lost with them since. So I'm going to keep going with them.
What about you, Jason? You're saying right now you're playing Catalyst Velocity?
Yeah. It's probably the hardest ball they make. It's purely made for distance. I bought a bunch of used ones off online. They were in mint condition when I got them. But no, my main ball really is the Pro V1 or most recently the TaylorMade TP5. I love both of those balls. I think that they're great. I think that they're perfect for my play style. I'm only really playing the velocity, so I don't feel like I wasted the money in buying them to begin with. And also because I'm kind of just going through like not a swing change, but just like a swing development. And I know that the chances of me hitting a bad shot or losing them is a little bit higher. So I would rather just get my swing, dialed in with the velocity. So then when I do play back with the Pro V1s and the TP5s, it'll be good to go, and I won't have to worry about stuff. But yeah, I'm a Titleist guy. I've been a Titleist guy my whole entire golf life. I like the True Feels that they have. Those are really good balls. They're softer. The velocities, they're not the greatest. They're pretty hard, but they get the job done and they do fly pretty far. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, I think for me, it was like if I had a good round with a certain ball, then I knew it was good. I was an AVX guy for a while, and then I went to Pro V1s, and then I recently just tried the TaylorMades because I heard great things about it, and I actually think that might be my newest ball that I'm going to be going with for a while. I think I might have replaced the Pro V1, to
The
be honest.
TaylorMade TP5?
Yeah. I think that ball is excellent. I think that the distance which you get with it is crazy, and I played really well with that ball. So I think once I'm done with going through all these velocities, I'm probably just going to mainly play with the TP5s. But yeah, I mean, for me, it's also like I use them when I practice too. Like if they've already been used and they're not good enough for play, they're still good enough to take to the course and use for chipping,
Yeah.
putting, things like that. Because range balls, they're good to hit off the range, but when you're getting your short, sorry if you hear my daughter crying, but range balls, they're good off off the range, like when you're practicing irons and stuff. But when it comes to chipping and putting, I typically like to play with the balls that I play with on the course because that feel is a lot different. And the range balls can throw that, they're not going to spin like the ball you play. They're not going to putt like the ball you play. They're not going to feel the same off the face. So I usually will have like, a whole tube of Pro V1s that give me the same feel that what I play with. And I'll bring those to the range when I'm working on my short game and just dump them all out and pitch with those instead of the range balls.
Range balls. So I started playing with Titleist for entirely different reason. It's not based on anything that's super. It was just those were the balls that I was finding on the course. Like I had more Titleist on the golf course, and for a while I thought, wait, are people who are playing Titleist not as good? Because I was just like find so many Titleist ball, and then the other thing also is that when I would find them, they would last the longest. Like since I started playing, I would lose balls from like hole 1 through to hole 18. I think for the majority of the time, if I'm playing with the Titleist ball, like it lasts me at least 10, 12 holes before, I lose it. So that's when I started with Titleist. But I want to shift gear a little bit with you, Wayne, because now that you're manifesting things, let's continue on the manifestation train.
Amen.
You had a post recently where you tagged a golf brand, and it made me wonder: are you gonna try to like have shirts or different kind of swag for Lowfadegolf?
So yes, that was a company. That was the first brand deal I ever had. It was an interesting process. They sent me some free stuff, wanted me to post some videos, and I obliged. But I think what I'm going to do for myself is I'm going to make my own. I wouldn't say golf apparel. I just would rather do merch, at least to start off.
Mhm.
Not having to, because when you have somebody spoke this, told me about this a couple weeks ago. They were like, Wayne, whenever you make golf apparel, you're going to be competing with the other brands, and then it's going to be preference, like what people feel they rather have certain feelings with the gloves or whatever you're going to sell. So I'd rather do something that's just more my brand. Lowfadegolf, maybe a head cover, some shirts, just some things to be fun, but to also build a community with. So yeah, it's going to come soon. I got to figure some things out, but it will happen.
Okay, I like that because when I saw the shirt, I thought, "Oh man, that's what's up." What was that process for you? Is that like a brand ambassador type
So
or okay?
something similar to that. They offered me a deal. It wasn't monetary or anything. At least the first one that I've gotten, it was just more like, we'll send you some free stuff if you wouldn't mind shouting us out. I just made the videos, did a couple things. I was a little bit more excited. I probably should have done some research on the company and all that, but I was just so excited to, again, people are noticing, low fade golf and whatnot. So I was excited
Yes,
to
yeah,
finally have something, some motion going for that. But in the future, I think what I'm going to do is, if somebody wants to reach out or do something like that, I'd rather be more collaborative than just me promoting their product. I'd rather be, low fade golf time with whoever. Let's talk more action golf or scorecard picks.
yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So talking about scorecard picks, Jason, I don't know, low fade golf is taking off, manifesting different things. What's going on, man? I don't know. Like, do you not post anything? Because when I
Yeah.
go on your
So
Instagram,
yeah, no, I don't know, man. Scorecard Picks is like my fourth Instagram page. I have a YouTube channel based in, outside of golf. And the social media thing for me is like whenever time I bring a camera, Scorecard Picks initially was supposed to combine my love for photography and golf. Because I'm a professional photographer. And I love playing golf, and I wanted to just bring some high quality images from the courses and from the time that I was playing. And people have enjoyed it, and I've been doing it, but I just can't relax and just take and have like a carefree round enough to like to whip out the camera and distract me or ask someone to take a pic. Or I mean, I did it in the beginning, and then I realized I care more. I was like, I shouldn't be focused on taking a picture right now. I should be focused on hitting this next shot and landing it on the green. And I just need to like relax in that regard and really still do it. Um, and it's just nothing but just procrastination, really. The goal of the page is, I actually had a hat company reach out to me, and I did a little something what Wayne was saying, like as far as like they sent me, 2 free hats, and I took a couple pictures and put it on my Instagram and stuff. So that was cool. I don't really know if I want like a brand deal, if I'm pursuing that. Right now, it's just more just trying to bring my artistic knowledge and combine golf and share that. I went on a couple great trips in Florida, and I took a bunch of pics there, and I still haven't really posted too many of those. So I just me just finding the time to sit down and go through everything. But yeah, scorecard pics just came through. It's just everyone says scorecards don't have pictures, and I was just like, well, I think it would be cool to share in an artistic way the average golfer's experience when we're actually playing and everything like that. So I'll pick it up. I'm definitely going to pick it up. I think I just want to kind of focus in on, dialing the game in first. And then when I have like a carefree round, I'll whip out the camera and take some video and do things like that.
so I want to switch gear and talk about being competitive. I played you both, and I don't know if you all were like trying to be on the humble. I have to be honest. I move very humble, but inside of me, I'm always competing. But both of you guys played as if like, it's all good. It's not a big deal. Like, where is the competitive? When does the competitive nature of either of you really sticks out when you guys are playing? Wayne, go ahead first.
So I'll say this. For golf for me is more like I've said this to, I think I've said it to both of y'all, but to me, golf is all myself. I only can compete with myself in golf. I don't care really what y'all score is, whoever I'm playing. Now, I want to win, obviously. I hate losing. I've said that multiple times on this podcast because it's the truth. I hate losing. But I can only compete with myself in the game of golf. Like, I'm trying to be better than I was the day before, trying to get my lowest score every time I play. But competing against other people in general. Like today, I went out and played around with some of my friends. Me and Jason last week played. And anytime somebody is, a little boastful before, saying some things that aren't really true, or they know they can't back up, that will ignite a fire in me. I will talk trash. I will stare at you the whole time. I will not lose to somebody like who's going to say something crazy, or anything that's I know and they know is not true. I will never lose like that. So yeah, the fire, you can see the fire comes out of me in that regard. But if it's a friendly match, like I said, I'm only competing with myself.
What about you, Jason?
I'm different. I keep my competitiveness in check, but I am very competitive. Like, I am very competitive, but definitely competing against myself, but I'm also secretly competing against everyone I'm playing with. I'm not gonna lie. Like if you hit a good shot, I want to hit a good shot. If you got a par or a birdie, I want to do that. At the end of the day, yes, I want to have a comparable score to everybody, or I want to have the lowest score. But in my head, I definitely am like, oh yeah, that was a nice shot, but watch this. Or, I gotta put it close to the hole, let them know that, ain't no joke, because for me, I'm also very competitive in the way where I've been putting a lot of practice in, I've been putting a lot of time in, and I want that difference to be seen.
Yeah.
If I played with somebody a couple weeks ago or a month or two ago, and we play, 2 months later, I want them to be like, oh shit, Jay actually is like playing a lot better than he was like 2 months ago. So like when me and Wayne team up and play against these other guys, like it definitely gets competitive. There's a little money on the line, nothing crazy, just like $5-10, nothing insane. But even that will kind of like get the juices going, especially if it's close.
My game is more like, okay, like I said before, just compete with myself, because that's the only thing I really can do when I was younger. So no, shit talking to me is more just playing well and beating you, and then you know in your mind, oh yeah, okay, this guy, I know I can't beat him. To me, that's the best shit talk, because what you gonna do when you can say whatever you want, but you have to show up. So that's my thing. I just got to show up, beat
And you
you,
gotta be careful.
let you know you never beat me, with my game at least, and then we'll know. Then we'll be good. That's why I can be friendly on the course, because I have, like I said before, that confidence. I have real, like supreme confidence in myself. So that's what it comes
Have you
to.
all played against each other?
Me
Nah,
and
not
Jason?
again. I don't think we played against each other.
I mean, we
Wayne.
play. Go ahead.
I would say Wayne would beat me right now. Like, that's one of my goals, to shoot. My main goal is to consistently shoot what Wayne shoots, which is like low 80s, pretty much, like on the cusp of breaking 80. I'm like high 80s right now, so I still have a lot of work to do. But yeah, I mean, we have never competed against each other like head to head. I mean, I would do it. I find that I play better when I'm in that kind of competitive mindset.
Me too.
But you also gotta like be careful when you talk shit on the course, because golf is one of those funny things. Will humble you real quick. You can
Amen.
talk some shit, and then the next
Very quickly.
2-3 holes, all that shit you were
Very
talking
quickly.
will get debunked by the swings or everything. So I always try to, like, I don't talk shit. I don't say anything, because typically when you try to talk shit, you miss the putt, or you shank the approach shot, or you had a bad drive, or you hit it in the water. Because golf just humbles you, like, so.
And if
But
I
nah,
can say
me,
this,
Wayne,
right?
yeah, go ahead.
Kind of going just kind of off what you just said, happened earlier today. But like for me, if somebody is gonna be willing to talk shit to me, kind of how, to me, I just feel like that's so, I don't want to say weak-minded, but it's like a only tactic they have, because they know they can't win. Straight up. So they're gonna have to try and diminish your confidence or your ability and your belief in yourself, to win. So for me, it doesn't work, because I'm like, oh, he knows that I'm better than him. That's why he's saying this. So now he's trying to bring me to his level. So it's not gonna work. That's why if you ever see me playing, Jason might see this, and I'm like smiling right before I'm about to putt or about to hit a shot. That's what I'm thinking. Oh, this guy, he really thinks he has a chance, and I just know I'm about to dead it with this shot or this putt right here. That's why I love it. And also, me and Jason, we play a lot of golf together. Maybe once or twice a month. I wouldn't say we ever go head to head against each other, but it's more like okay, Jason's shooting this. I want to do this too. Somewhere close to each other. He's beaten me before. He's gonna not say he has. He has, and yeah, it's eating at me.
It's a solid
But
competition.
it's just competition in general. It's not like unfriendly. It's just more like, okay, I just want to at least be close to Jason, or if I can win, I win. But it's nothing like I'm gonna beat Jason because that's what I want to do. Nah, we're cool. Same with you if we were to play together, like individually. I don't care necessarily about beating the person I'm with. It's just more like, okay, I just want to do my best. And if his best is, better than mine that day, hey, it is what it is. But I like for it to be a lot less. Go ahead.
I think what I appreciate, and I've been really fortunate to play with people who are better than me, because when I'm playing with someone who's better than me, it's like they raised the bar. Like the bar is, oh, okay, and then I find that my confidence level, because I'm like, oh, I'm playing with this person, so I gotta break it up. And then like my body, my mind already like, okay, let's go to that level, because now if I'm playing with you all, I know what's expected, right? You all are in the 80s. Immediately now, I'm going to be playing as if my goal is to get to the 80s, like to score, break 90 or whatever to get to the 80s. And I think for me, that fire, I really appreciate, especially when I play with people who are way better than me.
How do y'all feel about playing with people that are like way below you? Like they're not even breaking like 100 yet. They're just like in the 110s, 120s. Because I have some friends, Wayne, you probably play with a couple of them, that, occasionally I'll play with. And I found myself not necessarily wanting to play with them as much anymore, because I feel like the dedication and like the growth that I'm looking and showing to the sport is not what they're showing. So I almost feel like, not to waste my time, but like you said, like playing with people who are better than you elevates your game, And I feel like I'll play with anybody, especially if it's a rando, I don't care. But I will say, especially since probably like my March or my May trip, to Florida, I've probably been a little bit more selective on who I've been reaching out to play. And that's like basically I have my core guys. I got my guy Jake, I got Wayne, I got you, Luke, and then Eric and Vic when they join us when Wayne usually sets that up. And that's pretty much it. Like I haven't played with like the other guys in a minute, and I kind of feel bad about it. But at the same time, like, is there anything really wrong with kind of trying to stick to like the crew is on your level, or better than you, rather than just golfing with whoever can make the tee time and they're nowhere near your skill level?
Wayne, go ahead.
Okay. So I think it has a lot to do with intention. If I'm playing with people who are not better than me, if I know that they're not better than me or not even close, I'm going out there
not
thinking,
even close. Like not better is like
trying to hit the lowest score you can. And I'm just, like I said before, competing with myself. But I try to, if I'm playing golf with somebody, it's somebody who I think has a chance that they could beat me that day, or they love the game. I can see the love they have for it. I need somebody that's why I hit Jason up a whole bunch, or hit Eric and Vic up a lot. I put it in the group chat. Luke, you're in the group chat too, because I know these people in this group take golf seriously and they like the game. And if you can take it seriously and like the game, then you can appreciate the course, or the way you approach like your shot or a putt. That's why I like playing with Jason. If I could give him a quick shout out, this guy Jason, every shot he shoots, every single one he's gonna make sure he's prepared to shoot it no matter what. I don't give a damn who's behind him, who we're playing with, what course we're if it's raining, if it's snowing, nothing. He will make sure his shot is perfect.
Yeah.
And I admire that about Jason, because a lot of people are not able to stick to their own process. And I appreciate that. That's really why I hit him up a lot, because I'm like, okay, I know this guy takes it seriously and he cares about the score. So when he plays better than me, I know it's like, okay, he really tried. And if I'm losing to that means that I need to try a little harder or whatever. Or if I win, okay, I tried and he tried his best too. That's what I like. I like that type of mental approach to the game, something like that. But for people a lot lower, I try not to hit them up too much. Maybe just to have fun, maybe, but not too much.
Yeah. Like if it
But
was just a carefree practice round, maybe. Yeah. I will say, Luke, that you have definitely improved. Like that last round where I had to leave early, man, you were killing the ball on that back nine.
on
And
the
I was
back
just like,
nine, yeah,
but I was like, damn, Luke has actually gotten a lot better. Like, and that's
yeah,
what I like. You know what I'm saying? Like a couple of guys I mentioned before, like they get upset, or if they're not playing well, and I'd be like, oh, well, when's the last time that you played? Oh, well, the last time I played was the last time I played with you, and that was 2 months ago. Have you been to the range since in between? No, I haven't been. I haven't picked. This is the first time I picked up my club since that last time we played. And I was like, well, there you go. Like that's why you're not getting any better. Like you live right next to a golf course, but you're not doing
yeah,
anything to do it. And like I think that's what it is more importantly. Like if I see you at the range, if I see you're trying, then yeah, I don't think I'm gonna care what you're shooting. But just playing with the person who hasn't played in like 2 months and then they get upset at their performance, but they're not doing anything to enhance their experience or they enhance their skill level. I think I've kind of moved beyond that because for me, it's just like I already know what kind of mentality that I have when it comes to the game. And I guess, yeah, I think I've gotten better because I've surrounded myself with that same kind of mentality
yeah,
as far as wanting to improve and wanting to get better. Like, I'm not trying to make the PGA or nothing, but for me, it's just about like golf is a hard ass sport. It's a super hard ass sport. Only 25% of players even break 90. So, you know, for me to lower my strokes to get down to the low to mid 80s, and I know you'll definitely crack 90, and Wayne's about to, start cracking 80. I think that those are the kind of players that you want to surround yourself with because we all know what kind of work we're gonna have to put in to like get to that point. Golf
yeah.
is you can get lucky on some golf shots, but the game of golf is luck ain't gonna help you much. You
Oh,
know what I'm saying?
absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to wrap up, but I want to wrap up with some rapid fire questions for either one of you all. Which is your favorite shot?
Wayne, you can go first.
High draw.
Okay. Jason?
I would say I wouldn't have a shot shape. I just want to go straight, but I would say yardage wise, my favorite shot is probably 150 and in. Eight iron and up, like 9, 10, 9 pitching wedge, gap wedge. Like I'm solid with my 8 to pitching wedge to my gap wedge. Like that's when I get that yardage in, like I'm very, very confident. So I would say that's my favorite shot.
What's your most confident club? I know you mentioned 8 iron your wedges, but when you're having a bad round and you just want to just get that confidence back, regardless of the distance, what's your club that you pull out of your bag that
Off the
you know
tee,
I'm not missing?
off the tee, or just
It doesn't matter.
7 iron, probably 7 or 8.
7 or 8,
know,
Wayne?
yeah.
9 iron. If I know one thing, if I ever hit a bad 9 iron, I just know I'm not playing well that day. So it never happens, but a 9 iron, I love that club.
Do you all have golf people that you look up to, people you want to play like, you want to shape your game after?
I don't have anybody who I necessarily want to shape my game after, but a golfer who's I think is attainable to reach, who I can get somewhere close to, is my friend Anu. She's probably the best golfer I ever played with. Like low, he can shoot like 71, 70, 69 easily. So that's where I'm trying to get to. Catch.
Yeah, for me personally, I would say I don't really have anybody that I want to shape my game after. Um, but I do have I am a fan of a couple golfers on the PGA Tour. I'm a big fan of Xander Schauffele, who just won the British Open. I think he's an amazing golfer. Big fan of Scotty Scheffler. Um, Probably some others in there. Nelly Korda for the
Okay.
LPGA. I think she's amazing. I know they're all winners, but hey, even Keegan Bradley, who's now the captain of the Ryder Cup team for 2025. I
Mm-hmm.
kind of like this story that they showed on Full Swing, the Netflix series. If you haven't watched that yet, it's amazing. They have 2 seasons out. Full Swing. It's a golf documentary on Netflix. Awesome doc. But other than that, yeah.
Yeah. So what's one mistake or bad habit that you're trying to get rid of?
When I'm putting,
Mm,
when I hit it, I always try and follow the ball real quick with my head. I need to make sure I just keep my head down and follow
okay.
through it. Then look.
Jason?
Me would be coming over the top with my swing. And that's basically just rushing my swings and starting my swings with my arms instead of my hips. So yeah, I think that's a fault of mine that I've been working on, and I've definitely improved my ball striking with my irons. I've gotten a lot better. And
Yeah.
then I would say also probably just my weight shift. Making sure that I'm transferring that weight from the right leg to the left leg through the swing
Mhm.
and doing it at the right times.
What's best and worst experiences on the golf course?
My best experience was actually with Jason, and I talk about this a whole bunch. If you ever play golf with me, I'm always trying to get back to go to Golf Club of Houston. That was the best golfing experience I've ever had. It was beautiful, good day, and I was really excited. The worst golf I've ever played was I can't remember who I was with, but man, I shot probably like a 30 over. I was so embarrassed just playing in front of a whole bunch of randoms. It was a group of 3 randoms. I was like, dang, they think I suck. That was the worst. It was at Pearland Golf Club.
Mm.
I've had some of my worst rounds at Pearland. I don't know what it is about that place. For me, my best experience would be breaking 90 at Cabot Citrus Farms when I played there in May. I was going against my brother-in-law, and that's what really got me back into the sport of golf, was training for those trips. The first trip was in March, got rained out, so we didn't get to play, so we went back in May. And yeah, like he's like a 5 or 6 handicap, and I only shot like 2 strokes above him. I think I shot at 87 and he shot at 85. But to break 90 on that course, the distances we were playing and being the first time actually playing the whole course, that was like probably one of my best. I had some amazing shots. I played my ass off. Like I thought that was a great experience. My worst experience, ironically, was probably on that same trip when we went and played Stream Song because I caught heat exhaustion due to the heat.
Ooh.
And I could barely survive the last 4 holes from the 16th. No, 16th to the 18th. It was like dire. Like I almost died. Like I was throwing up. I had heat exhaustion. I had to catch a flight that same day. I finished the round out. And then, ironically, I shot like a 96, which I felt like I shot a lot worse than that. But that was a work experience. There's nothing worse than playing and then getting sick. Oh, I take that back. My worst experience is also, I'm speaking against 6, when I went to a wedding in South Carolina about a month ago, and I brought my clubs and I played a random round in South Carolina, and I got food poisoning. And
Ooh.
it hit me. I had the Hotel Continental breakfast, and it hit me mid round. And
Oh
it
my
started,
God.
and that's why I don't drink Gatorade Zeros. That's all they have that's all the cart girl has at Clear Creek. But the Gatorade Zeros, what kicked it off. And then I puked in between shots, and then I'm not going to get into it, but it was every symptom that you could think. It was a Pepto-Bismol commercial, homie.
Oh
And it
my.
messed up the whole entire weekend. It messed up the whole entire weekend. So that was my worst experience. But playing Cabot, playing Stream Song, those are like ranked in the top 100 courses by PGA Magazine. Those courses, like, they're beautiful, and I was happy I got to play them. So those were my best experience.
Final words.
Well, first off, I just want to say, Luke, thank you for having me on the podcast. I said this earlier, but this is the first time I've ever done anything like this. I'm very appreciative of you. First off, meeting you that one day at the course,
Yeah.
playing, and you having, being a person that I look at on Instagram and like, okay, that guy is doing something that makes him happy, and that makes me happy to see somebody I know do something like that. I really do appreciate the things that I see from you, you're taking it so seriously, the podcast in general. So thank you for having me on, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. Thank you for inviting me on. And also, like, just seeing overall, like, the growth of everyone and you documenting your experiences with all the different people on the courses. You be taking shots with all the people you're playing with. I was like, ooh, chilling out with everybody, taking shots with the cart girl and everything. I was like, that's pretty dope. But yeah, nah, for me, I'm just trying to get better. Like I have a goal. This October will be a solid year that I've been playing golf semi-seriously as far as just trying to improve my game. I'm currently taking lessons right now. So I'm just trying to by October, I'm trying to be down in the mid to low 80s consistently with an occasional bad round, which would be probably like 90s. Going forward. But yeah, man, I appreciate the opportunity to be on your pod. I'm looking forward to more episodes, and just let us know if you ever want to hop on again.
Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk More Action Golf podcast. We hope that you've enjoyed today's episode. A big shout out to our producer and creative director, Ajane Josafa, for bringing the show to life. And a special thank you to Sid Mac for our fantastic music. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast on your favorite platform. Follow us on social media for the latest update and exclusive content at Let's Talk More Action Golf. I'm your host, Luke Josafa. Until next time, keep swinging easy, and remember, let's talk more action golf.
Life's a maze, keep your head high when you going through it. I saw dead bodies licking the eyes of the living, held back cause you held back from making bigger decisions. We get lost, but this journey comes with us down, that's a given. That's a given. That's a given. We get lost, but the journey comes with us down, that's a given. That's a given.
Let's talk more action golf.